Guys, so I got this message from someone saying that, good morning ma, please ma, I need your help. I don't know why my birds are not growing. My 8 weeks looks like 7 weeks old and my 4 weeks looks like 2 weeks old. Here is a picture attached below. I'll be glad to hear from you, and here is what those birds really look like. This is the 2 weeks old, and this is the 4 weeks old looking like 2 weeks, and this is the 8 weeks old looking like 4 weeks. So in today's video I will be discussing why your birds are not growing as much as they are supposed to be growing. So imagine what 4 weeks birds looks like, and imagine what 8 weeks birds looks like. And then in today's video, this is what we will be discussing about why your birds are not growing. So guys, let's get started. In this part of the world, Nigeria, and my location, which is the southwest, we are currently in the rainy season. That is, the weather is very cold during this period. And honestly speaking, if you are a poultry farmer, that is, you are into poultry business, this period is that period that your birds should really perform excellently well. If you are doing it the right way, that is, you know what to do and what not to do, this is the best time your birds, especially your broilers, should grow even more bigger. But to some people, to some farmers, they are struggling. They are struggling with their birds. In today's video, I'll be explaining to you why your birds are not growing so well, especially when your 4 weeks birds looks like 2 weeks old, while your 8 weeks birds looks like 4 weeks old. And a lot of people have been making this complaint. I even saw some of these posts on social media where they are making complaints that their birds are not growing so well. So the first thing I will be pointing out is brooding. Brooding wrongly. You see, when you brood wrongly, one major thing about brooding is controlling temperature. That is just what brooding is all about. When you are brooding your birds from day-old chicks, maybe for the first 2 weeks of their life, what you are doing is that you are trying to control their temperature, because at this point of their life, they do not have feathers yet. It's just like, take this as a newborn baby. You know, when you have a newborn baby, you have to wrap that newborn baby so well, prevent him or her from getting cold. So the same thing is applied to this day-old chick. At this point of their life, they do not have feathers, so you have to provide enough heat for them. And currently we are in the cold season, that is the rainy season, in this part of the world that I have, which is Nigeria, and in southwestern Nigeria, we are in the rainy season right now. And then the way we brood our birds in the hot season is quite different from how we had you brooding these birds now. So if you're not getting your brooding correctly, that means that production will actually flop. That's just the truth. So brooding simply means that you are controlling the temperature of your day-old chicks for the first 2 weeks of their life. So you want to ensure that the temperature is that is, they are maintaining the right temperature they are supposed to get. They are not getting too much heat, and at the same time, those birds are not feeling cold. Because if they are feeling cold, that is, you are not giving them optimum heat, they are feeling cold. These birds will grow feather faster than they are supposed to grow heat. So that when they are feeling cold, they will grow more feathers faster. So that it is these feathers that will always keep their body warm, and this is going to affect their growth rate on the long run. So if you are brooding your birds, you want to ensure that you are brooding those birds the right way, you are brooding them correctly. That is, you are controlling the temperature. You have to keep checking them from time to time. This time around, it doesn't matter whether it is during the day, and maybe because it is during the day, you have to stop providing them heat. We are currently in the cold season here, and as such, you have to provide optimum heat every now and then, whether it is during the day period or at night period. And at the same time, you have to keep checking them from time to time to ensure that the heat is not too much for them, at the same time the heat is enough for them. So what brooding simply means is that you are trying to control the temperature of your day-old chicks from when they are still very young till for the first 2 weeks of their life. So that is one major mistake that can cause this. And one thing is that if you do not get this brooding correctly, there is absolutely nothing you can do to change that, because it's really going to affect your production. There is nothing you can do about this. it will affect your production, and that's it. All you just have to do is that when those birds are ready for sales, just discard them and sell them off. So that is the first thing. And the second thing on my list here is that you people are not giving the right quantity of feed that your birds are supposed to consume. That is the second thing. And when I'm talking about the quantity of feed they are supposed to consume, I will also make emphasis on the quality of feed that they are supposed to consume. So if you are brooding your birds for the very first time, the first 2 weeks of their life, you need to give those birds feed that is very, very high in protein content. So when going for feed, you want to go for feed that has a protein content of between 22 to 24% CP. So you don't just go out there and maybe, let's say for example, you go out there to buy a starter feed that has a crude protein content of 20%. You want to ensure that you place these birds on a feed quality that is very, very high in protein content. So, and as well as the quantity of feed they are supposed to consume at the right time. So let's say for example, for the first week of their life, maybe your birds are supposed to consume 200 grams per bird, and you are reducing their feed content maybe to 150, or you are giving them 100 grams. This is going to affect their growth rate on the long run. And the third thing I'll be talking about is the water quality you are giving your birds, and the water quantity as well. You see, if your birds are not drinking enough water, that is, you have to be providing them with water every now and then. You don't want to come into their pen this minute and you realize that, oh, their water has finished, and or every time you keep coming to their pen and you realize that they don't have water. So you want to ensure that there is enough water for them, and then the quality of the water you are giving them is okay. That is, the water is always clean. So you have to keep checking them from time to time. If you realize that there is dirt in their water, discard this water and change it into a clean water, and always ensure that there is always enough water for them to drink. This is going to aid their digestion, and it's going to help them digest their feed very fast. And when they are able to digest their feed faster, this is really going to convert faster into muscle. The next thing you want to check out for is if there is a disease outbreak. There are some diseases that are asymptomatic in nature. That is, they will not show you signs, which means that all of your birds will start showing the same symptoms, but you might not notice those symptoms. So the first thing you will want to notice is inappetence. That is, there is a reduced feed intake. This time around, I'm not even talking about your birds not eating. When you give them feed at first, they will rush you, but at the end of the day, if you are the type of person that do proper record keeping, you will realize that your birds are not consuming enough food as they are supposed to consume. Maybe let's say for example, you've been giving them 20 kg of feed before, and all of a sudden their feed intake reduced to maybe 15 kg. So when you have the proper record keeping, you'll be able to detect that, oh, these birds consumed 20 kg yesterday, but today they are consuming 50 kg. You should know that there is something wrong somewhere. But when the type of person that you do not keep proper records, you won't be able to detect these signs, because once you just be like, oh, your birds are eating, they are consuming food, you feel like everything is okay. But gradually, it all starts from this, and gradually these birds start coming down with certain diseases. So they are not consuming enough food that they are supposed to consume. It's really going to affect their weight, and they will not grow well. So that is the first thing. The fifth one I'll be talking about is the stocking density. Yes, your stocking density also determines whether your birds will grow well or not. So if you overstock your birds, they will not be able to grow well. Let's say for example, this pen can take like 500 capacity, and instead of you stocking 500 birds, you go ahead to stock maybe 750, 700 or 800. So a space that is required for 500 birds, this space is required for 500 birds, and the 500 birds can only take this space. Now imagine bringing 200 birds extra into this particular pen, into this pen that can only take 500 birds. That means those 200 will have to compete with space with the 500 birds, which means that the 700 birds, this is like, let's take this as shoe. Let's take for example, this is a space, this is a small space, and I'm in this small space like this. This space can only contain me, and you want to bring in another person to join me. You know what? It will shrink me now. It will shrink me. So the same thing applies to this bird. So when they are 500, it's only take 500, and you are bringing in 700 or 1000 capacity. The extra ones will actually shrink those ones, and they won't be able to grow as they are supposed to grow. So you have to consider your stocking density. Ensure that you are not overstocking your bed. That is the fifth one I'll be talking about. And the last one here is your management. You see, management is key. And when I'm talking about management, it starts from your litter management, your biosecurity level, and all. This is the rainy season, and this period you want to ensure that your litters are always dry. When your litters are wet, because we are in the rainy season, we are in the cold season, I don't think that we are in the hot season. The weather will be able to like dry up those wet litters, especially when your bed, when they pour water, or maybe when their feces, when their litters becomes wet. The hot weather will be able to like dry it up faster. But we are in the cold season, we are in the rainy season. The humidity is very, very low compared to during the dry season. So it's going to take longer period before your litters will dry up. And as such, your litters will be wet, will become wet every time. So what you have to do is you have to ensure that you maintain a dry litter, because when your litters are wet and they are not drying, this is going to introduce certain pathogens, mold and the likes, and then this is where your birds stay hot. They inhale the gas that is coming out from the litters, and at the same time they might even pick feed from these wet litters, which can cause diseases. And when they are done with diseases, it comes with maybe loss of appetite. They will not eat as much as they are supposed to eat, like I've explained initially. So what you want to ensure is that you want to ensure these birds are properly taken care of. Their management is on check. So those are the 6 things that might cause your birds not to grow well as they are supposed to grow. Proper record keeping is very, very important on your farm, because this is going to help you track if there is problem or not. So if your birds are consuming certain amounts of feed before, and maybe their feed intake reduced, through proper record keeping you will be able to know that. So like I said, let's do a recap. A principle is you want to ensure that you are brooding your birds correctly, and one important thing about brooding is temperature control, because at the time these birds do not have feathers that will keep them warm themselves, so you have to provide heat for them. And at the same time you want to ensure that the heat is not too much and it is not enough. You want to ensure that the heat is enough. So that is the first thing, brooding right. The second thing is the feed quality and the feed quantity you are giving your birds. You want to check the water quality and the water quantity. You want to check your stocking density. You want to check for disease outbreak, and you as well want to check for management. And those are the 6 things you have to do. So if you know that you are not doing some of these things correctly, this is really going to affect the growth rate of your flock. So they will not convert well, they will consume food, they will eat, but they will not convert those feeds. So those are the things you have to consider when your birds are not growing so well. Go back, ask yourself, did I put these birds correctly? Then you want to check the quality of the feed you are giving them. Are you just giving them anyhow kind of feed? You want to check for their water quantity and the quality. Oh, is it every time you go to your farm they are not drinking water? Like currently now, I'm vaccinating these birds this morning, and I've already withdrawn their water, so I don't have water with them right now. So except you are vaccinating your birds should not be you should always provide water for your birds. That is, they must have water every now and then. You shouldn't come into your farm and you realize that the water with them has finished. Now you want to change it again. You don't even know how long that water has finished. So you want to ensure that there is water on your farm from time to time. The only time you should be withdrawing water from them is whenever you want to vaccinate your beds. So check for the water quantity, the water quality. It should be neat every time. You want to check for the stocking density, that is, do not overstock your bed so that they can have enough space to grow well. And then the fifth thing is disease outbreak. Check if there is any disease outbreak. And then the last one is management. Ensure that your management practice is perfect. And with all of this, if you can check all of this and you can work on it, I bet it with you, you should always have a profitable and successful production. And you should never experience anything like, oh, my pets are not growing well, my 8 weeks pet looks like 4 weeks, my 4 weeks looks like 2 weeks, and that's on that. So if you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on your bell notification so that you will get notified each time we post new content. I will see you in the next video. See ya. Bye.